Harry, it's great to see you, mate. First of all,
Oh,
congratulations.
Medalia.
Yeah, it's great to see you. First of all, congratulations on hitting 50 goals for Sutton United over two spells, of course, but even still, a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, as I said, it's an achievement I didn't know nothing about until after the Oval game. To be honest with you, um, it wasn't until one of my family members sent it to me, the picture of I think it was, yeah, 50. So yeah, it's something that I weren't even aware of. I weren't aware of how close I was to 50 or how many I had at all. So it was a surprising one. It's a nice one to hit. So yeah, all good day all around with the win and the 50 mark.
Fantastic, of course. Now, we talked to you in pre-season, and at the time, we sort of reminisced about last season. You cleaned up the awards. Your record-breaking goal contributions was 17 last season. You've this season, Matt mentioned you've been a bit frustrated because you haven't been getting opportunities to score goals. You had to wait a while to finally get off the mark. So yeah, speak to me. How difficult was it to keep thinking, no, I got to score today, and then when you don't score, it suddenly plays on you a little bit until you eventually broke the duck.
Yeah, it's a tough one because obviously with my record last season, I knew this season, if I'm honest with you, I hit 13 goals. I'd be very happy with that come the end of the season. 10 to 13, I'll be over the moon with that double figures as a midfielder. So sometimes I've got to reflect on it and think I can't score every game. Do you know what I mean? I'm a midfielder and I have standards that are set and maybe sometimes they're a bit too high. So at the start of the season, it was a little bit frustrating because I weren't getting the chances. And then all of a sudden, we go Weymouth away. I get a few chances and I don't hit the back of the net. So that makes it even more frustrating. But at the time, the main thing was the team was winning. So it makes it a little bit easier when the team's winning. But then all of a sudden, as you said, Yeovil comes around, I nick a brace, and then I look back at it again and reflect and think 2 goals in 5 games as a midfielder, I've got to be happy with that ratio.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. It took a while. I think it was Barnet last year that you started your scoring spree in the
That's
1-1
it.
draw, and it wasn't concern. We knew you'd get there eventually, but it's taking a little bit longer this year. But we're glad you got there. Let's talk about
Yeah,
let's
finally.
talk about the season so far then, because we mentioned obviously a great start to the season, wins in the first 3 games, the unfortunate blip against Notts County, and I'll have to be honest, disappointing defeat to Bromley in FA Cup. Picked that up obviously with your brace against Yeovil and the 2-1 win away from home. There's been a lot of time off though for Sutton, obviously, in the last 2.5 weeks with the pandemic taking effect and stopping us playing against Yeovil. How have you guys been keeping up with your fitness regime and training and trying to keep your minds ticking over while you wait for the next game?
Yeah, if we look back and see the first 5 league games of the season, if you're taking 12 points out of 15, you're going to be over the moon with that. It's frustrating because we think we should be sitting on 13 points, but they're promotion favourites. We gave them a great game. It's frustrating, as I said, we didn't get a draw. But as I said, over the first 5 games, if you take 4 wins, you've got to be over the moon with that, especially with a couple of long journeys away to Weymouth, long journeys away to Yeovil, who's obviously a big club. As I'm unlucky not to get promoted last season. So then you look at Maidenhead, who's all of a sudden they've beat Notts County, they've beat Maidenhead away from home. Not Maidenhead, sorry, that they beat Wrexham away from home, Notts County away from home. So when you look back, we've had a superb start to the season. We're fully aware we're taking it 1 game at a time. We're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves. But I remember speaking to you in pre-season and I'm saying that I've really got a good feeling about this season. We've kept a strong core of players. We've added to that core of players with good players. And all the boys are pulling in the same direction. So it's a great start to the season, but we're fully aware that it is only a start and we've got to carry that on.
Certainly, and we're all excited to see what happens next. We mentioned, obviously, we've already mentioned Notts County and the FA Cup. I wanted to, obviously, because we haven't caught up with you for a while, we wanted to just touch on that day against Bromley. Why was it a disappointing result? Personally, I thought we'd get through that game and probably nick a result. How did you guys reflect on that day? Obviously, it helped you get the result against Yeovil. But
yeah, you said it was our worst performance of the season. it was a very deflated change room after the game because we didn't perform at all. So we're fully aware that obviously it's a big game for the club, not just ourselves but for the club. So we're very frustrated after the game because we didn't perform nowhere near to our standards, and unfortunately our one-off game of the season happened to be in the FA Cup. So it weren't ideal whatsoever, but the way we've bounced back from that, going away to Yeovil and getting a good result, was all credit to the boys because I felt as if we played very, very well away from home at a good place to go to.
Yeah, very important to get a response. I think Matt made that very clear after Saturday's game because I'm sure, like yourselves, you were very disappointed with that result. But it's good to see that as we've bounced back quickly from that one. So let's look ahead. In fact, before we look ahead, I should touch on this. It's an interesting debate. We've had a lot of these in our match commentaries and in the live streams. Between you and Craig, you're both joint captains this season. How do you guys come about with this? Have you talked to Matt about who's the overall captain, or have you agreed that you're both big voices?
No. First and foremost, Craig Eastman's the captain of the club. I think ever since he's been at the club, and especially since I've been at the club, his performances alone have been to a superb level, and he's done a lot of good things for the club on and off the pitch. He sets an example just through his quality, not just in matches but in training as well. He sets a high standard that the boys look up to, and it pushes them on. So, yeah, Craig's club captain. He's first team captain. I'm more than happy to be vice. Do you know what I mean? As I said, I wouldn't want to take it away from him anyway because I think he deserves the role. But he picks up a few red cards along the way, which means I do wear it on occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, Craig's the captain. I'm vice, and I'm more than happy with it that way. It's an honour to captain the club every time I do. But yeah, I'm more than happy to take that behind Craig.
Certainly, he's a very good player and an equally interesting character as well. So,
Yeah.
no more perfect for club captain. So, yeah, now I promise we'll look ahead. We've got a big game Saturday against Kings Lynn's Town, a huge match, National League North champions. More importantly, though, they've just come off of the back of probably one of the biggest moments in their club's history with their victory over Port Vale in the FA Cup. Then found out they're playing Portsmouth, but Sutton, 2.5 weeks off. I'm sure we'll be roaring to go. We will be missing Kobe and Ben, sadly, because of their respective injuries they picked up. And we're wishing Kobe well, more importantly. But just to touch on Saturday, huge game. They're on a high at the moment, Kings Lynn. They haven't lost in their last 2 games. How important is it to pick up a result and, let's say, burst their bubble?
It's a huge game for us, but it's very cliche, but every game in this league is a massive game. But as you said, they've just come off the back of a massive result. They've got a great draw in the next round of the FA Cup. So hopefully, if anything, their mind's thinking about that game. But I'm not sure it will be. I think they'll be fully focused on the league. But it's going to be a tough game. We're trying to set Gander Green Lane as a fortress. We want teams to come to our ground and really struggle. We want to get momentum there. Unfortunately for us, the Wrexham game got called off because at the time, obviously, as you know, we was on a great run of form. We was playing well, coming off the back of a game against Yeovil, as we spoke about. So we was going into that game full of confidence. So that was frustrating. This means we've had 2 weeks off. It's allowed us to get rid of any little niggles that some of the boys did have, and regroup and then train, preparing for this game on Saturday. But as you said, Kobe is a massive loss for us because, for me, I think he's been one of our best players so far this season. I think he's been a rock at the back for us. He's been calm and composed on the ball, won his headers. So for him, that's a massive, massive disappointment, but I'm sure he'll come back even stronger.
Certainly, and we will miss him greatly. Of course, massive as Kingsley, you mentioned Gander Green Lane. It's the first of 2 games in a row we'll have it at Gander Green Lane. I don't think we don't leave the M25 at all during the November period at all. So how important is it to pick up a result on Saturday? And I know your minds are focused on that, but there's a huge game against a familiar team in Dagenham and Redbridge on Tuesday. Seems we couldn't get enough of them last season, played them 4 times, each match having different fortunes. But How important is it with their strong investment this season and a very good team as well? Is it to pick up a result?
Yeah, it's massive for us. But as I said, once again, every game is massive. But of course, when you're playing at home, you want to make it tough for teams to come to your place and try and put a stamp on it. So as I said, we're trying to make Granny Green Lane a fortress. I looked at our record, to be honest. One of the boys mentioned it in our group chat not long ago, and I think at the time, I think we had lost one game in 22 maybe, which is an unbelievable record if you go back and look at it in terms of the league. So I think that now puts us on, we've lost 2 maybe, or it might have been 2 in 20 games we lost, and I think at the moment we might be 3 in 24 games we've lost. So we've got a great bit of momentum going for us at the moment, and I think we've brought that on from last season, because I think we ended the season really well. We didn't want the season to end. We're on a good run of form once again, but lucky enough for us, we've took that into this season. But it's important that we keep that going.
Certainly, Harry, and we obviously hope that you continue your goal-scoring run as well. Once
I
again,
hope so.
congratulations on 50 goals for Sutton United, and we wish you all the best for Saturday and Tuesday.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, pal.